The teams make their way out on what's been a roasting afternoon, and look at Lee Casciaro there.
It's Lee Casciaro, and he scored!
We're all looking forward to it. There's a goal machine, Lee Casciaro.
Okay, so Lee, it's been dubbed the last dance. So just talk to us first about your emotions.
See, it's going to be a very emotional game because, like I said, it's going to be my last competitive game for the national team. Roy and Scott called me up and wanted to give this opportunity to just give a farewell for the national team and the fans and obviously the family to go and see me one more time representing Gibraltar at the level we are at the moment.
It's obviously a big decision to announce international retirement. It's caught a lot of local football fans a little bit by surprise, and of course it's upsetting when such a legend decides to do it. Was it a tough decision, an easy one?
No, I'm realistic at the end of the day. I'm getting to an age where I'm going to be 45 in a couple of months' time. Obviously in Lincoln it's even harder every year to compete and get into the first 11. So I'm not getting the minutes that I could get maybe if I'd signed for another team, but realistically I'm a Lincoln boy, and obviously it's harder for me to get into the national team. And like I say, it's time for me to just like carry on what the process is and retire from international football. And who knows, there's a few ideas they've brought up to me, and we see what it takes.
Is there a sense of protecting your domestic career with Lincoln, and perhaps even being able to stretch that a little bit longer, ya que you don't have the international side of things to consider?
Not really, because like I said, it's going with the international is always like a plus. You train with the boys, you're around the Gibraltarian boys. Lincoln will always be there for me. I think that what I give for Lincoln, I realize that it's changed quite a lot because I'm getting older, and the level of players we are getting from and playing for Lincoln, I would consider it's very hard for me at the moment because, like I said, it's an age. I'm getting older. My fitness isn't what it is before, but like I said, it's just a what life brings you. You get into an older age where football, you've got to be young, fit, strong, and have the opportunity they've got at the moment. I'm just looking at day by day, and if it's another year I can do for Lincoln, so be it. We've got a new manager. We'll see what I can offer him or what he wants from me. And yeah, the national team, it's getting harder to get into the team, but like I said, it's part and parcel of life.
You've admitted your memory isn't great. Neither is mine, so we'll see how we go here, vale? But
Yep.
just talk to us about. Let's go back to the start and your childhood, your earliest memories with a ball at your feet. You grew up not far from here in the South District.
Yes, I was born in Irish Town, and obviously my parents bought a house in Rochdale. Luckily enough, we had the playing area we've got in Rochdale, and then Dolphins Youth Club helped me a lot. And obviously we got the quarry there just beside. We could kick a ball. At the end of the day, it was just being out down in the patio and playing the boys we had around. My two younger brothers helped us continue playing football, but yeah, most of the time we just Dolphin Youth Club was the main place where we used to go to train and play between each other, and that was like most of my youth was around there. And obviously having Lincoln so near, it was an easy option to sign for Lincoln. Obviously we had Frankie Barton, which is a cousin to my dad, and through him we started off the actual signing up for Lincoln.
Were you obsessed with football?
Yes, I'm still obsessed at the age of 44. Football is everything for me. It's I don't know. I can't forget or everything revolves around football. My life, my family, my kids, everything revolves around football. Obviously, I'm getting to an age where I just like last year, I said to the manager, Besares, look, I need time off because my wife's a teacher. I can't take time off because with the month they give us off is in May, so I'm just stuck with playing football. And my family needed a break, and I needed it also. And like I said, it's if I know what I bring to the team, and he said, look, it's better for yourself, for us, and the family. And I went on the Disney cruise with the family. So that's where I get that from Lincoln at the moment also.
So growing up, everybody knows about the Casciaro brothers, the trio. You're the oldest of them. Were you the best of them growing up as well?
No, Kyle was probably the best. And I was just stubborn, and obviously I had qualities. I've always played 2 years older in my division since a very young age, but technically Kyle had the ability and everything. Really, he's left-footed. He's really good at what he was. But I was very stubborn, and I always pushed myself to where it is at the moment.
Who are your idols? I mean, here locally, who are your sort of your footballing idols growing up?
Um, I don't know.
You joined Lincoln as a youngster. Is there anyone in the senior squad that you think one day?
Not really. When I started going to watch the games, because my dad had an interim manager situation with the first team, there was a very good pot of players there. Had Francis Caruana, Mick McKelvey, Frank Bato, and there was a lot of players. That Dennis Lopez. There was a lot of players, and it was a bit of more trying to grasp things from everybody rather than just focusing on somebody. Because at the end of the day, I consider myself a kind of player that I want to learn from. Doesn't matter what position or whatever I look into. It's what I can grasp and develop when I've carried my career's continued because of that, I would think.
So what about representing Gibraltar? Your earliest memories of representing Gibraltar, and this is, I mean, well pre UEFA in 2013, kind of like BC in a way. You know what I mean? So what were those times like? What do you remember?
It was demanding because every time we got together, it was probably the only time we actually had training on an actual football pitch. Most of the time we were running on the road or outside the Lincoln Club at the Humphreys, or pitch number 2 was once a week. So that was where we actually trained on a football pitch. Obviously, I've been playing for the national team since the age of under 10 because through the ranks I've been lucky to be selected for the national team. And obviously at the age of 17 or 18, I can remember, it's just many years ago, it's getting into the team. And I remember our first Island Games, I think it was in Isle of Man that I went with a lot of very experienced players. It was my first view into what it is playing for Gibraltar, especially in the Island Games, where it's always been the highlight for us in that day and age to
That
play.
was our World Cup qualifiers back then. That was everything really.
And it was, I think it's every 2 years we had to play at the level, because there were very good nations there, or small nations like Gibraltar, Jersey, Guernsey, Isle of Man, Isle of Wight. Very hard games we played, and that's where we started off to create the bond, the national team we had. To obviously in 2007, I think in Rhodes we managed to get gold, which was something that here in Gibraltar was missing really, because it's I think Gibraltar, the main sport is football, and I think we deserved that gold for us and for everybody.
And that Gold Cup match in Rhodes was perhaps the pick of the bunch really. We get to the final, we win the final. Lee Casciaro makes his mark.
See, I think it's a collective team, because we ended up winning 4-0. I believe I scored the last 2 goals. But yeah, it's just an experience, because it tells you of how much we've come from the actual starting at the age of 17, 18 in the Isle of Man to getting the gold for Rhodes. But like I said, we after the Island Games, I think there was a lot more fans going to watch us, and they were like really up to looking at Gibraltar, the players we had, and it was really important goal for us.
Any celebrations after that cup final win, or in bed by 9?
No, I was just partied. I think we all partied the whole week.
And then 2013 comes, and this is, most local football fans would agree that 2013 is the most significant year in our history. So talk to us about the change. I know you and the Lincoln boys were already training pretty professionally
Yeah, like I said,
But that's a big swing.
it's a big swing because your competitive games are going to be harder. Like I said, training, I've always trained 3 or 4 times a week, plus the game we had weekly. Getting into UEFA, nothing changed. What it changed was the level of competitiveness went up. I think obviously we were still a bit naive in terms of what we were going into, and obviously you can see how things have developed, not just for the GFA, but Lincoln has made a very big step in the last 10 years. But yeah, it's been an important role. 2013 helped Gibraltar and Lincoln and all the clubs develop to what it is now, and I think it's still a learning curve, and there's lots of more things we need to improve and push, because at the end of the day it's hard to play at the level we're playing, and nothing comes easy at this level.
What about that first game post UEFA, that goalless draw against Slovakia? What are your memories of that?
Slovakia, the first game, I went over to Portugal, and I had injured my knee on the first game being in UEFA. I was training apart from the squad because I wasn't sure of how the knee felt. After training with the national team, and I could feel that the knee wasn't right, and having to stay in the stands and watch Gibraltar play was emotional, because it's the first game into UEFA, and it was like a dream come true, and a result where we managed to get a draw. Obviously, when I got back, I found out that I had done my cruciate ligament, and then the whole process of coming back from a very bad injury.
You scored 3 international goals in total, post UEFA. I think I know the answer, but talk to us about your favourite one.
My favourite one, I don't know. Obviously, Scotland, because it's the first official game of scoring the first goal. It was an emotional day, but the other 2 goals were also as important. I think it's just the moment of having that chance, and creating that chance, and scoring.
We've spoken about it before, but that in front of tens of thousands of people at Hampden Park, the finish, it was so perfectly Lee Casciaro. It was just, you didn't think twice about it. It was just like you'd been doing at the Victoria Stadium for years and years and years.
Yes, it's very hard for me to explain, because everything looks like it's a dream. Not if I look back at the games I've played, and the goals, or that goal, it doesn't feel like it's me.
Just a blur?
It's just like it's I don't know. It's just, that's not me. I don't know. It's a
It's the sort
special
of thing
way
that you
of
appreciate looking back as opposed to in the moment.
In the moment, luckily, like I said, it was a 1-1 at that precise moment. It would have been 4-5-0, and I would have scored that. For me, there's no price in that. At the end of the day, I'm a footballer. I've been brought up very competitive all my life, and for me, winning is everything. That's why I play football, or anything I do apart from football is competitive.
To win hasta la tablita.
Anything I play, doesn't matter who I'm playing, even if I'm playing against my kids, I want to win. And that is because, I don't know, it's in my nature, really.
So 67 caps later, I'm going to ask you for one highlight.
The first one, like I said, I did my cruciate. I think it was the 19th or 20th of December. Came back for the last final of the cup. I think it was in the first weekend in May. Played Europe for Lincoln, the first European game, and then getting back to playing for Poland, the first international match which I played with my brothers, just standing there and walking out and hearing the first national anthem in front of, obviously it was in Faro. I would have loved to be in Gibraltar, but it was where I actually said, look, we've made it. Then from then onwards, everything's gone by so quickly that it's just gone, and that's what you look back. But that's probably one of the what I feel is most memorable, because, like I said, it's been. I wasn't a young Lee. I was 34, 35 years old. I come back from a very bad injury, and had managed to get that. Obviously, there's a Germany game away. There's a few others, but that was like I managed to get, especially like I said, I had my brothers, and apart from that, all the friends that represented Gibraltar from a very young age that around me that managed to get there, and that was a very emotional day for us.
You mentioned Germany. We've played some of the other giants along the way, France, Belgium, Poland. Having swapped some shirts along the way with some of the biggest names in the world, is there one in particular that you value most?
I started swapping shirts, but it got to a point where I didn't want to do this. There was no, I didn't get satisfaction of changing shirts with somebody else. I've got it in a box, which I'll end up giving it to Stephen for the new stadium, because I'm not, I won't.
Not sentimental like that?
Not because at the end of the day, I'm not going to wear somebody else's shirt.
Al patio de toda la vida.
It's not in me. I prefer having my shirts and giving it to locals that ask for shirts, and especially the younger generation or whoever. I ended up having to put a list down because there were so many people asking for a shirt that I couldn't manage to remember who had asked me the last. So I started doing a list of people on notes, because I didn't change shirts, and like I said, I've got them out in my terrace, and when Stephen asks for it, I'll give them over to him, because there's none that I have a sentimental. Because
who do you have?
Who do I have shirts? For example, at Tony Cross for Germany, I gave it to my nephew. He asked for it, and like, yeah, you. Because at the same, like I said, there's not. I've played against him, and that's it. It's just another human being like me. And yeah, I swapped shirts. In that time, I was changing shirts, but it's not that I have a big house. I've got two daughters. My daughters are not gonna want that. Maybe my mom, my cousins have asked for, but mostly boys have. But like I said, I have girls, and realistically, there's no importance of having somebody else's shirt.
You're a good person to ask, not just because you've been playing for so long, but the period of time that you've been playing. We've seen, see if you agree, the loss of street football. So you, as we've spoken about, you grew up in the South District, Dolphins Youth Club. Street football was just the norm back in the day. That seems to have been lost a little bit, not just in Gibraltar, but globally. Have you sensed, I mean, you've played through that transition?
Yeah, like I said, we've got the phones, we've got technology, we've got PlayStation. You don't need to actually go out to play. We had to go out because there wasn't anything. Obviously, if you look at mostly third world countries are the ones that are developing better footballers, because they don't have that. They are like us maybe 20, 30 years ago. And I see that even I go to the beach, you don't see people keep it up or just playing around with the ball. It's very quiet in that sense. And for me, that is where I learned how to play football, playing against older kids and knowing how to use your body, and that's how you develop the streetwise of football. And that obviously bringing that and going into UEFA helped us. I would think that we would have struggled badly to play if we wouldn't have had the streetwise we had. Like I said, I go to train an hour and a half every day. My daughter trains 3 or 4 hours a day of dance. Saturdays and Sundays, she might even go from 10 to 4 in the afternoon. Constant training. I don't see that in football. Like I said, I used to go to the courts, change of courts. I used to stay 3, 4, 5 hours all day kicking the ball. I don't see that.
It's not. It
doesn't happen because, like
and
I said,
so then that later on down the line, that will impact the national squad, because youngsters are not practicing as much, or if they are, they're doing it in confined, sort of structured spaces, and then maybe we just lose the sort of the magic on the pitch, the sort of
streetwise and like I said, see the magic. It's everything. Like I said, like anything you do in life, the more you do it, the better you can become at. And I think that obviously it doesn't help that there's more and more houses being built, but there's less patios for kids to go to play. Obviously, I think us as parents, we are a lot more lazier than our parents. Our parents used to go out of their way a lot more for us than we do with the kids. Because most of the kids, you go anywhere you go, you put them an iPad and you've got them there entertained for a couple of hours. So that doesn't help either. So it's a bit of both. We've got to give them technology and all that, but I think the outside area, going out, not just football, anything you have to do, it's better to be out and about rather than to just confine to a house or PlayStation, and I don't think it's good for us.
So ahead of your final international cap, Leanne, I know you're not a sentimental guy, but I will ask anyway.
I am a sentimental guy.
Ah, you are? Okay.
But I'm not sentimental in the sense that the things that material is not something I grasp or I get.
Okay. Well, no, this is immaterial. How do you want local football fans to remember you?
As myself. There's nothing more to it. That every time I wear a shirt, doesn't matter if it's for Gibraltar, Lincoln, anything I've done, or anything even in training, I want to be remembered as the guy that has always pushed himself to better himself and the people around him. Motivation, and always just, at the end of the day, it's pride and joy to represent your country, because it's not very often that people can do that. You can look at people all around the world, they die to do what we do. Probably we have a small community, and representing your country, if you really push yourself and you can actually make it, the opportunity is there. So for me, it's just pride to wear the shirt, and like I said, in front of the fans, the family, my daughters, where they haven't experienced that because they were born. My youngest is 6, the eldest is 9, so they haven't seen the real me. Obviously, I've been pushing the last 2 or 3 weeks. We've started with the national team. I've been pushing myself because I want to be as best as I could be to represent myself when I wear the shirt, and for them to see me, how much I could have done or how much they've seen from me wearing the shirt. And that is where what I'm trying to push the body, trying to make it as best I can show them.
And when you put on that shirt for one last time and you look up to the crowd and your wife and daughters are there, is there a chance you'll get emotional?
See, that's for sure. I'm already dreading it in that sense, because I know that in that sense I think, because like I said, I'm an emotional when I'm even watching films or anything. So hopefully I can go through it.
I'm sure every local referee will agree that you're an emotional player too. What's next?
Well, Scott and Roy have given me the opportunity to go and help work with them also. So we are still, there's things that need to be polished in terms of with Lincoln. I've got to talk to the new manager, and there's a few things that need to be done before this happens. And like I said, it's an opportunity I could make, but at the moment it's just I'm concentrating on playing on the 3rd and doing so well that Scott has a problem that he'll have to play me on the 6th. That is my aim at the moment.
And just lastly, Lee, if you've got one final message to the Gibraltar fans watching.
Well, like I said, it's been an emotional roller coaster of a ride for over 20 years of football. I believe that I've done the best I could have done for Gibraltar. Hopefully I'll see all of you on the 3rd, and I'll be as proud and push myself to represent Gibraltar, and hope to make a good account of myself and to make you proud as best as I can.
Here's Lee Casciaro. And that's a decent pass, and it's into the back of the net, and it's 4-0. Lee Casciaro, for the final time, makes his way off the pitch.